The resolution war isn't just back, it's been completely redefined. For years, we thought 61 megapixels was the absolute ceiling for full-frame sensors. We thought you had to sacrifice speed for detail. But as we move further into 2026, Sony is about to break every rule in the book with the upcoming Sony A7R VI. If you've been holding off on an upgrade or considering moving to medium format, you need to stop everything and listen to this, because the leaked specs for the A7R VI are genuinely terrifying for the competition. We're talking about a rumored 80.2 megapixel stacked sensor, 8K 60p video without the crop, and AI autofocus so advanced it predicts where your subject will be before they even move. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why this camera is being called the medium format killer and whether it's worth the $4,000 investment. Let's dive straight into the heart of the beast, the sensor. For the last 2 generations, the A7R series has sat comfortably at 61 megapixels. It was great, but it was starting to feel a bit stagnant compared to the rapid innovation in the stacked sensor market. The A7R VI changes that by jumping to a staggering 80.2 megapixel Exmor RS Stacked CMOS sensor. Now, why does stacked matter so much for a high-resolution body? Usually, high-resolution sensors are slow. They have rolling shutter issues and sluggish burst rates because it takes so long to read all that data off the sensor. But by using a stacked design, similar to what we see in the flagship Sony A1 series, Sony is giving us the best of both worlds. You get the insane, billboard-ready detail of 80 megapixels combined with the blistering readout speeds required for high-end action and professional video. This means you can finally shoot high-resolution landscapes or portraits without the stutter or lag that usually plagues high-count sensors. But Sony didn't stop at the sensor. To handle that massive flow of data, the A7R VI is expected to debut the Bion's XR2 processor. This isn't just a minor speed bump, it's a total overhaul of the camera's brain. This processor is what enables the new 16 stops of dynamic range. Think about that, 16 stops. That puts this camera in the same league as dedicated cinema cameras and high-end medium format backs like Hasselblad or Phase 1. Whether you're shooting a high-contrast landscape at sunrise or a moody studio portrait, the shadow recovery and highlight retention on this body are going to be legendary. You'll be able to pull detail out of the darkest shadows without introducing that nasty digital noise that usually ruins high-megapixel files. Now, let's talk about the feature that is going to make sports and wildlife photographers lose their minds: Skeletal Prediction 2.0. We've seen Sony's AI processing unit before, but this is next level. The A7R VI uses deep learning to recognize not just eyes or faces, but the entire skeletal structure of humans, animals, and even insects. If a bird is behind a branch or a person turns their back to the camera, the AI calculates the most likely position of the eye based on the body's posture and limb position. It stays locked on like a heat-seeking missile. Combined with a rumored 759-point phase detection autofocus system that covers 95% of the sensor, missing focus is basically going to become a thing of the past. Even when shooting wide open at f1.2, the hit rate on this camera is reportedly near perfect. If you're a videographer, I know what you're thinking. The R series is for photos, not video. Well, not anymore. The A7R VI is effectively closing the gap between the resolution line and the cinema line. We are looking at 8K 60p internal recording. And here is the kicker: the leaks suggest it's oversampled from the full width of the sensor with no crop. No more choosing between a wide angle and high resolution. You get the full 80 megapixel field of view in glorious 8K. Plus, with the new thermal management system borrowed from the ZV and FX lines, overheating issues that plagued older high-res bodies are expected to be a thing of the past. You can actually use this as a primary ACam for high-end commercial work, music videos, or high-end YouTube content. It also supports 4K at 120 frames per second, allowing for buttery smooth slow motion at incredibly high detail. Let's address the elephant in the room: stabilization. Shooting at 80 megapixels is a double-edged sword. Every tiny microjit or heartbeat is magnified when you have that much resolution. To counter this, Sony has completely redesigned the in-body image stabilization system. We are looking at a world-first 8.5 stops of compensation. When paired with a stabilized G Master lens, you'll be able to pull off 1-second handheld exposures that stay tack-sharp. This opens up entirely new possibilities for street photography and low-light work without the need for a bulky tripod. And for the landscape photographers who want even more, the Pixel Shift multi-shooting mode is getting an AI-powered upgrade. It can now compensate for movement in the frame, like moving leaves, swaying grass, or running water, meaning you can actually use the 320-megapixel composite mode outdoors without getting those weird ghosting artifacts that ruined previous versions. The build quality is also getting a premium overhaul. The electronic viewfinder is rumored to be a 9.44 million OLED panel with a 240Hz refresh rate. It's basically like looking through an optical viewfinder but with all the benefits of a digital overlay. The body itself will feature enhanced weather sealing and a new 4-axis multi-angle LCD screen that tilts and flips, satisfying both traditional photographers and modern content creators. It's a design that says this is a professional tool, and it feels like it in the hand. The grip is slightly deeper, the buttons are more tactile, and the overall ergonomics are refined to prevent fatigue during long wedding days or commercial shoots. Connectivity is another area where Sony is pushing the envelope. With the rise of hybrid workflows and the need for instant delivery, the A7R VI features Wi-Fi 7 support. This allows for lightning-fast wireless tethering and file transfers, which is essential when you're dealing with 80-megapixel RAW files that can easily exceed 100 megabytes each. There is also a full-size HDMI port, which is a small but massive win for professional videographers who use external monitors or recorders. Dual CF Express Type-A slots remain, but they are upgraded to the latest generation for even faster buffer clearing, ensuring that the camera never slows you down even when you're firing off 20 frames per second in high-speed burst mode. So, when can you actually get your hands on this beast? The industry roadmap points toward an official announcement in late 2026, with units hitting shelves shortly after the holiday season. As for the price, expect it to land in the $3,999 to $4,499 range for the body only. Yes, it's a premium price, but when you consider that it's essentially replacing a high-res stills camera, a cinema camera, and a medium format system all in one body, the value proposition starts to look very different for a working professional. Before we wrap this up, I want to hear from you in the comments. Is 80 megapixels the sweet spot for your workflow? Or do you think the industry is just chasing numbers at this point? Does the 8K 60p uncropped video make this a day one buy for you? I respond to as many of you as I can, and I love hearing your take on these rumors. If you found this breakdown helpful and you want to stay ahead of the curve on all things Nikon, Canon, and of course, the Sony Alpha ecosystem, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notifications. We've got a lot more deep dives coming on the M5 Mac Mini and the next generation of G-Master lenses that you definitely don't want to miss. That's all for today's look at the Sony A7R VI on TechVibe. It's faster, it's sharper, and it's smarter than anything we've seen in the mirrorless world so far. The competition has a lot of catching up to do. Thanks for watching, stay tuned for the next one, and keep creating.